Hey there, in this week's video I'm going to review the Rotterdam Marathon 2023. I mean, I say that, I haven't run it yet, but yeah, preview and then hopefully a review. I'm making this video because I wanted to kind of show something of what running the Rotterdam Marathon might be like if you were thinking of running it, and some of the things that I might learn along the way. And I've discovered, having done that in a couple of different marathons so far, people do actually enjoy that and can help in terms of setting up before a race. So yeah, tomorrow morning at about 10:15 I think, I head off for Rotterdam 2023. It's a later start in Rotterdam than most other marathons. A lot of marathons start at 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, but this one is a relatively late start, and with the time zone having been in the same time zone, that actually pretty much suits me. Most times when I make a video, I travel from Dublin, where I live, straight to the city where I'm running the marathon, stay a few days, acclimatise, run, film, go home. In this instance, I had to travel to Antwerp in Belgium for a conference, so I flew Dublin to Antwerp and stayed there for a few days. Very lovely city, beautiful railway station, beautiful old architecture and very beautiful modern architecture. And you go to the old train station, but also the tracks, it's amazing. They're on several different levels. It's very easy to figure your way around. Much more easy, I found it in both Antwerp and also in Rotterdam than I did when I first went to Berlin. Berlin after a while was much easier. But effectively, I travelled up to Antwerp, picked up my bib, and I'll go through what happened at the Marathon Expo and actually open up my bib, haven't opened it up yet, and travelled back, and then I travelled up today on a high-speed train. Most people would be happy to travel today, pick up all their stuff, but I always have these imaginations that something terrible is going to go wrong. And of course, thankfully, nothing did. I mean, the train today was high speed, supposed to take half an hour, it took an hour, but got here safe and sound. This is the Rotterdam train station, a fine piece of modern architecture. It has great connections by rail to all of Europe. This video is long and there are chapter marks down below, so you can skip through to the bits you might be interested in. The Marathon Expo in Rotterdam is incredibly easy to go through and get your bib. When I was in Berlin last year, there was very, very long queues. It was on the edge of town. It was, well, it wasn't the edge of town, it was in an old airport, but I suppose Berlin is so huge, I had to travel for quite some distance and all this sort of stuff. But the start line is there. The train station is, the main central train station is three subway stops that way. It's actually not a particularly long walk. I walked it yesterday. And then it's also, then there's the Bib Pickup is just somewhere between the two. It's really very straightforward, but what's so amazing is that you go in, I went in early, and there was a queue of maybe 5 or 10 people in my section to get the bib. I had my bib. Okay, I was one of the first people there, but I mean, it didn't look like there was much more queuing going on. It was because I stayed for about an hour looking at the various things. Really, really easy to pick up your bib. And chapeau to Rotterdam, because a lot of times when I pick up the stuff, I get an awful lot of junk with it. I get little leaflets for this, that, and the other that I don't want. And here, all you get is an envelope. And so I'm going to open it now and see what's in it. So this is the envelope here. It's got your name. I'm only guessing this, but I'm guessing they mail this out to a lot of people. So I'm just going to open it now. Hopefully it's my name, my bib. It's still open tomorrow morning, but we'll open it up and see what it says in here. So we'll see what's here. Wear this bib number on your back. So there's the bib. There's this bit, complete with chip and some other simple bump in what I'm guessing is Dutch. So yeah, really straightforward stuff, really very easy. In Berlin, they gave you a tag you had to tie into your shoe, but it doesn't look like there's any of that here. The Rotterdam Marathon is sponsored by Hoka, so there's a lot of Hoka related things at the Expo. I tried the Rocket X2. I loathed the Rocket X1, but I have to say the Rocket X2 was really, really impressive. They didn't have any for sale. I think it's certainly not in my size, but I tried it on a treadmill. It's very dangerous just trying shoes on treadmills because you can't really tell how soft they are, because some of it could be the treadmill would be much better to run on a hard surface. But certainly in terms of putting it on, the feel of the shoe, dramatically better than the X1, the Rocket X. So yeah, that was quite interesting. And I also had a lot of, I've seen a lot of Hoka clothes on their web stuff, but never known whether it'd be any good or not. But actually a lot of it was really good. I ended up buying a t-shirt that it says Rotterdam Marathon, so I'll wear it at some point in the future. I don't tempt fate by putting the t-shirts on before I run the marathon, in which case also I got at the exhibition, you get this the t-shirt, but again I haven't even opened it. Actually I'll open the Hoka one, you'll get a look at it, but it's very, so it's actually super lightweight. I was surprised. So it's got Rotterdam 2024 and Rotterdam Marathon on the back. I have a lot of, well, not a lot, but I mean, I have a shirt from a lot of the events that I've run, but I don't tend to run in those shirts because usually they're not particularly technical fabrics. But that one is, that I bought that, so I'd definitely be running that shirt. Probably see it in a future video. But the Hoka stand was impressive. Elsewhere, there was all the usual stuff. Sace Guy had a stand. A lot of people doing nutrition stuff, Morton's, all that sort of stuff. We'll come on to Morton's in a minute. But there was all of those kinds of things were there. There was also, I was looking at, when I was in Chicago, I had a race or two with kind of your finishing time and guide times. And there was one, I was looking at this band, it said, time to go. And then I was looking at that band, and then I immediately turned, and there was a sort of advert for what looked to be like a nursing home, and turns out to be some sort of cancer care. But yeah, time to go. Yeah, that kind of, I guess it's a reflection of my age. If I was 25, that wouldn't have even crossed my mind. But yeah, I kind of a wry smile and I moved on. But it was a very good, there was lots of the usual stuff where people are trying to get you to go to other marathons. All of them looked great. The Ravenna one looked great. There was one in, I think, Madeira. There was lots of places. The Kenya one looked great, but it's at the wrong time of year for me. But definitely that will be, I don't think I'd have a chance of winning that one somehow. But yeah, that one I'd love to do that one, but I think it's at the wrong time of year for me. I think it's in May, and that's end of year in the university. So the exhibition, it was really, really good to get in and get out of. So top marks to Rotterdam for the superb organisation of that. This hotel is the Intel, I think it's called, and this is, I specifically chose this room so I could see the view, make the video, and look at the course. And yeah, I mean, this is an expensive room because of the view, I guess. And the hotel is nothing special. I think it took me an hour to check in. Again, I was in the wrong room, and the room didn't have a view. And anyway, they didn't seem well set up. I mean, for I think they had some technical issues, but other than that, the hotel is okay. I mean, it's okay. There's nothing special. There's no microwave or anything like that, which would be handy. There's a small fridge, which is okay for water and stuff like that. It's fine. It's fine. It'll do. And I mean, it's the view. I mean, it's easy looking at it now. Running up it and then back it and all that. Yeah, I might be sick of the look of this hotel by the time I pass tomorrow. But yeah, it's really handy. I don't think I've ever stayed as close to the start line ever on a marathon. I think the start line's down there. I'm not exactly sure where the finish line is. I think it's a bit further up. But yeah, it's a very handy place to stay. And as I said, it was just 3 stops up from the central station. So you could fly in the morning, do the run, and go home if you were built that way, which I'm not. So what's the course like? Well, take a look at it. That's I'll show a panorama or show a picture here, and pictures from the in around, so from the hotel. But the course is a loop. It loops around on itself, and so you start literally down. Just I could fall out the window and land at the start. I can see them building the gantry, and it's the Netherlands, the flattest country on earth, and the first thing they do in the marathon is they have a hill. So you go up the bridge. I think it'll be windy, to be honest. But it's a looped course, maybe it'll be a zero-sum game. But you go up there, you then go down past Feyenoord, the stadium, and you kind of do a big loop. You come back here. I think it's about 25k when you get back, and then you go loop through the city, and you go under. There's some famous houses by an architect called Piet Boom, and I'm not sure if I pronounced that, so apologies if I haven't. But there's a couple in Toronto. Yeah, if those of you who've been to Toronto will see these sort of square houses on edge that are based on these ones. But you go under that, and it's probably about a kilometre after here, maybe a couple of kilometres. But I think when you come out underneath it, you come back on yourself again. I think that might be very close to the finish. So I'm kind of looking at that as kind of the sort of that time when you think, have I got anything left in the tank? And so anyway, but the course, it looks great. It's flat. There's some world records set in it, but I think it might be windy, as I said. So anyway, I won't be setting any world records, but yeah, it looks like a really nice course to run, and a lot of people will be running it. All the app shows that bridge absolutely jammed. With a bit of luck, and the battery's not overheating, which has just happened already, but with a bit of luck I might get some pictures at the window with the GoPros. Who knows, it might work, mightn't work, but yeah, I'm looking forward to running it, and it is really nice to see at the window and see the course. In terms of nutrition, I'm going to go with Morton's again. I will drink a drink mix tonight. I'll take this. This is the caffeine drink mix. You can also get it non-caffeinated, but I just happen to have some of these lying around, so I'm going to use this tonight and also in the morning. I actually like the taste of the drink mix. When I'm actually doing the run, I'll take caffeine. The caffeine ones are light coloured, white sort of sachet, and then there's non-caffeine, which is a darker colour, and I'll alternate those every 6 kilometres. I don't like the taste of the Morton's gel. I don't look forward to having it, but it's way better than the other ones I've tried, which are very sugary. This is very bland, and I've never had any GI issues with it, so it's been great in terms of its technical performance. I just don't look forward to eating it, but I'm going to do that. There's also a drink mix. It's a local drink, AA drink, and this is, I tried some earlier, it's empty. It's an ISO lemon they serve on the day, and I'm hoping it comes in those small plastic bottles. You know, plastic is a lot of waste. But the plastic cups, I find very hard to drink from, whereas if there's little bottles of those, that would be ideal. I'll report back from that. So tomorrow there's a breakfast in a hotel. They weren't able to tell me whether it'd be porridge or oatmeal, which is what I usually like to have, with some bananas. But they said it's designed for marathon runners, so who knows? But I mean, I'll eat something bland, and yeah, looking forward to that. I don't like to go off too full. I don't like to overeat. This week I just ate and drank normally, but I ate a lot of carbohydrates instead of meats and proteins and things like that. So yeah, I mean, that side of things so far in every marathon has gone really well for me. Running maybe not, but certainly the eating and hydration has really gone well so far. So yeah, I'm hoping that I can make quick transitions with getting the drinks and carry them a bit longer. My big thing with marathon organisers that I say in I think every video is put the waste bins for the drinks, cups and everything else a little bit further so that people can carry them and then put them in the bin. I really do not like, and I don't throw the stuff on the ground. So sometimes I carry it in Berlin, I have to go kind of to the side and find a regular trash bin. So yeah, that would be really useful if people did that. And maybe they do that in Rotterdam. But yeah, that's the hydration strategy all seems like it'll work again. The bit most people are probably interested in is the kit, what I'll be wearing. And so first of all, the tech, I'll be using the 2 watches, which I use pretty much so I capture a lot of data. That's really the reason. I'll be bringing my phone with me. I always bring my phone with me so I can take pictures on the star line, a few things like that. I'd like to get to a situation where I didn't, but nonetheless, I'll bring my phone with me, the iPhone 12 Pro Max. So it's a very hefty old phone, but that'll be coming with me, as will these two. This is an Apple Watch Ultra. It'll be connected to a Stride FootPod on my Vaporfly 3s, and it'll collect data. I'm not using the Stride as a running tool. I'm just literally just gathering data with it. I will be using the Garmin F4955 Solar, and that I will be using to just keep a regular eye on my pacing, and I'll connect that to the Garmin HRM Pro chest strap monitor. So I'll be wearing this under my top, and that will be sort of the sort of data gathering side of it, which I do enjoy, because I'm really looking at, we'll go through that during October, what I think might happen in the race. That's what I'm looking to try and find out, get a lot of data. So I will be, as I said, running in these, the Vaporfly 3s in Dutch orange. So yeah, it's my nature. Yeah, I'm looking forward to running in these. I've run a marathon in the Alphaflys. I ran in the Metaspeed Skies. I ran a marathon in the Metaspeed Berlin and Metaspeed Sky Plus, and that would be my shoe of choice. If in the previous testing before the Vaporfly 3 came out, I didn't do extensive testing as to see which. I'm kind of going on gut feel. I know it wouldn't be the Alphafly, and as I've got a good bit of experience in the Metaspeeds, and in training, these have gone really well. So I'm really looking forward to running and capturing all this data in the Vaporfly 3s to see if I can kind of get a bit more on a handle as to when an Alpha Fly might be better than a Vaporfly. That kind of stuff interests me. But yeah, they went great in training, so I'm really looking forward to running the race in those shoes. The rest of the kit is kind of tried and trusted stuff that I've done before. I'm using the, you can see a sort of orange and sort of reddish theme going on. These are the On Running mid socks. I think I've run 3 or 4 marathons in On Running mid socks in various colors. There's probably already a marathon in these actual pair. I'm not sure. I think there is. Doesn't matter. But they've been great. I like a mid sock because I like it to go up a little bit higher than where the shoe meets my foot, so that any abrasion or anything that might be is effectively reduced or eliminated. And I've never had the slightest problem in these. So yeah, I'd be very happy to run on those again. For my shorts, I go through an endless battle of trying to find the perfect shorts for me. I might end up making my own. But this is the pair of shorts that I wanted to make in the last marathon I ran. I wanted to wear these and I didn't end up. They're the N Normal shorts, Kilian Jornet Brigada's new company. And these feel fantastic. There's 2 things I don't like about them, and I'm just gonna have to get over that. But one is that, well, first of all, they're supremely comfortable. They really are lightweight and they're incredibly comfortable. And all the way around in the front, there is a lightweight mesh for carrying the gels. There's a sort of pull cord, that's kind of good. And there's stretchy pieces at the back for poles, which I don't need. I guess being a trail runner, the shorts don't have something that I need, which is, one is I'd like a lockable zip, or a zip, not a lockable zip, but a zipped compartment to put the room key. That would be handy. It's not a deal breaker because, well, I mean, they can always get a replacement room key if something went wrong. But I want to have the phone, and I'm a bit worried at the phone bouncing up and down or bouncing out. I've in testing that was fine. It didn't happen, but it's kind of always on your mind. There's a nice slot in the back where it fits in, but it does just a sort of little tab over it. It's never happened. I've done it in training and it's never bounced out, but you never know. And there's one at the front, so I'm going to use these magnets, race dots. They're really superb for attaching the bibs. I've got loads of them, so I'll probably tighten up some of the pockets by using some of the race dots. And I also got some other magnetized stuff that Hoka had lying around. So that is, I'll do some of the testing of that tonight, but I do want to be able to take pictures at the start and pictures at the end and all that kind of usual stuff. So that's quite good. In terms of the running top, I'm going to be running in what's effectively my favorite running top, though I've never run in this actual top. I've got race dots attached here for some reason, but you can see these magnet clips, and one of the things they do, I got these in the States, there's a sort of little donut and then there's a sort of nipple on this one, and one goes onto the other, and they're very handy for most of the race bibs. Have little holes in them, and it's a very good way of not destroying your top. Speaking of which, I'm wearing this is the Soar Milers Club top. This is this year's one, so it's red with black, or sort of orangey with black, and I've run 3 or 4 marathons in different variations of these. If I could get one, I mean, they're expensive, but I like them. They're really fantastic, and they give me a bit of a buzz. And yeah, so I'll be running that tomorrow, and then I will be running in this hat. So this is an on-running hat in what's called orange. It looks sort of reddish, but it's reddish orange, and I'm really happy to have this hat. So I'm going to make a separate video pretty much about this hat, but just to anyway, I won't go through, but Mick, thank you. I'll be thinking this is going to give me very positive vibes all the way through. So I'm going to make a video about that, but not today. So that's kind of the kit. I think it's my only worry is the shorts. It's my worry in every single video. If the phone bounces, in Chicago, I wore some Satisfy running shorts. The phone bounced, and I got a bit of chafing, but really mild stuff. I didn't really even notice it till the day after. So I'm going to do a lube up all over the place, and hopefully that will prevent that. Other race preparations, well, I'm going to use, this is my lube of choice, Gold Bond Friction Defense. This comes in aloe now. This is really good. I've used this. It's inexpensive, available in most pharmacies in the States. Walmart, this is bought in Walmart. Walgreens, CBC, all sorts of places. I buy it every time I go to the States, but it's actually also available in Europe, and I bought it on Amazon. So it is inexpensive, really good. I'll put on the nipples, all around the groin area. I'll put some where the chest strap is. I'll put some where I think it's going to be bouncing. And anywhere else, I think I might get any chafing whatsoever. So that's going to be used. I'm going to use Banana Boat Ultra Sport 50 clinically proven. I very rarely use this. But as you can see, it's lovely and sunny today. So it's due to be sunny tomorrow. So I will probably stick this on. I don't want to come back and be even more freckled than I am at the moment. Thank you very much. I'm going to use Carmex. I'm kind of addicted to this stuff. I'm convinced Carmex put something in to make it addictive. I'm going to do that. So what do I think will happen? What are my race predictions? Well, fail again, fail better. So, I don't know. Training went pretty well. I kind of did the training, but I didn't feel particularly fast. I didn't do a lot of sprint training. I mean, I did strides and I did tempo days. I did all that sort of stuff, but I wasn't trying to sort of also break my 5K PB. So I didn't. So that I'm just not sure about. Injuries were all fine, actually. I didn't. I have, you know, like, I mean, 60 years old, you get the odd knee problem, but I've actually had no knee problems. I have another shoulder problem. I've got an MRI next week, but I think it's another frozen shoulder. I had this one, I think it was the frozen shoulder last time. But it's fine. I don't feel bad. I had a bit of lower back pain for some reason. That seems to have largely gone away. I will use some of the Voltarol gel, it's ibuprofen. I'll put some of that on my lower back and on some of my knees. And I mean, I don't know if it'll do any good, but it won't do any harm, and the placebo effect will do some good. But certainly training went pretty well, didn't have any injuries, but I didn't feel very dynamic. I mean, I did it, but it didn't feel, so I don't know. I feel in pretty good shape. I've rested well, everything is fine. Like all of those things, you kind of don't know. So last year when I ran Buckeye, Arizona, I didn't think I'd get through the first kilometer, and I set a personal best. Other races when I did think I'd do well, I didn't do well. I have a tendency to be kind of I think a lot of people do. You go out and start, you feel great, you're pent up because you haven't run in a couple of days, and you head off and you get caught up in the scrum over the bridge, and you're jockeying for position, all that stuff. So I'm trying to avoid all that. That's the first thing. So all the health data in the training has gone well. I'm probably the only person who ever comes abroad for a marathon and brings his own weighing scale. So the weighing scales is over there, and the blood pressure monitor is over there, the thermometer. I brought some antigen tests. Hopefully they won't be required. And all that kind of health data that I regularly obsess about, I still do when I'm here. And all the health data is really good. I think I'm the in terms of the muscle mass and highest in the categories of my age, and in terms of the other things, I think the fat mass I'm the lowest, that kind of thing. But the problem, not the problem, but the last year I ran 4 marathons, and towards the end of the year I took my foot off the gas in terms of controlling what I was eating and all that, and it was Christmas and mince pie season and blah blah. So I'm probably a kilogram or 2 heavier than I'd like to be ideally for tomorrow. But I'm not worrying about it, because my plan this year is to run 3 marathons. This is not the one that I particularly want to do the fastest one in, but it's I'd like to, but that's not. I'll come to that. But yeah, effectively, I'm hoping to run tomorrow, and it'll be really good. It's a nice sunny day. The weather. So I was staying in Antwerp for the week, and looking out the window one day, it was absolutely pouring rain, and I kept looking at the weather thing app on my phone to see what was going to happen in Rotterdam, and every single day it kind of changed, but it looked like it was going to be good for tomorrow. The temperature should be 14, 15, 16 degrees, ideal, really, I suppose. Of concern is that it might be very windy. I use windy.com, and it looks like the wind will be coming in across the bridge. It looks like, but it looked like it was going to be 14, 15 knots, which is pretty strong. Maybe it's the zero-sum game. I'm hoping for that. I'm hoping that if it's the wind's at my back, I don't think, oh, I'm going great. So I'm hoping to just run steady. In the last 4 marathons I did, the 2 ones where I did my best times, I analysed everything, because I overanalyzed everything using Excel. So I took every kilometre, and what I discovered, it wasn't hard, was that I mapped out all the kilometres, all the different times in each of the marathons. And my 2 fastest marathons were the 2 marathons, so I had the slowest starting times, kilometres, and vice versa. So I'm absolutely convinced I need to go out slow to finish fast. what I'm convinced now, because I did the data after the last marathon, but I was probably convinced before, but it still didn't stop me losing the run of myself. So tomorrow my main objective is don't lose the run of myself, is to start. My personal best in a marathon is 3 hours 53. I'm going to have a personal best in my 60s as my first one, so that's fine. I'm trying to use this as a starter marathon for the year, and then I'm running the Jack and Jill Marathon in Washington DC. No, not Washington DC, Washington State in the United States. Somebody recommended it. I was after Berlin Marathon. I met a woman walking down the street, and she recommended it as a good one to try for a Boston qualifier. I mean, who knows? I might give it a go then. That would be when I might really push the boat out. But tomorrow, what I'm going to try and do is run at 3 hours 53 pace or thereabouts at the start. So not start and then tail off, but try and see, can I keep that pace, which I think is about 5:30, roughly 5 minutes 30 per kilometer, just starting around 9 minute miles. I'm going to try and do that regularly and see how long I can keep going regularly for. And if I can eke out a little bit further than I did before and get a handle on that, that will be sufficient for me, and as well as getting some data from the shoes. And this is called getting your excuses in early, of course. You'd really like to break your personal best, but that's not the real thing I want to do is show some discipline and some self-control in how I approach the running and not go off like an idiot. And every marathon I've gone like an idiot. Every marathon well, apart from Buckeye, every other marathon I thought, oh, this is great. I feel so much different this time. Training is so much better. And then, of course, it inevitably slows off. So tomorrow, finish it, have a nice time. Really looking forward to it. So yeah, my performance expectations are, I suppose ideally I'd like to extend my starting time as long as possible, finish in less than 4 hours. If I got close to my personal best, I'd be quite happy. And whatever else comes my way is fine. It's just after 6 o'clock now. I'm going to try and have a swim. I like swimming, and or float. I'm going to get down to the pool and float around and try and do that. Then I'm going to probably come back up then and eat. I've got a big bowl of pasta I got in the local supermarket. So I'll eat a big bowl of pasta. I didn't eat hugely today, so I'll eat a big bowl of pasta. I'll drink my Morton's. I will edit some video. I think I brought 4 GoPros this time, so I'm going to try and set those up. I'm having some overheating issues with some of them, but I'm hoping to be able to at least get some footage of someone running by the window in the morning. If that includes me or you, so much the better. We'll give it a go. I'll set up several ones, but there's been some overheating and you can never tell, and I've got to leave about, I don't know, maybe an hour before the start. So, I mean, it's like the start is 100 yards that way. Why am I leaving an hour beforehand? That's probably what I'll do, because that's the kind of idiot I am. But either way, that's what, hopefully I'll get some pictures from that and some from the iPhone to start and finish, and then be able to report back as to what the Rotterdam Marathon is really like to run. Hopefully it's not too windy. So here we are on race morning. It's not the sunny day that it was yesterday, but perhaps the colder temperatures and mist. There's no rain predicted during the race, but that might make for better racing conditions. It won't make for as enjoyable a view of Rotterdam, but I mean, maybe I was actually hoping, I prefer sunny and coldish and a nice run, but I'll take what I can get. All the preparations I thought I slept really badly. My watch says I slept okay. I trust myself rather than the watch. I woke up screaming. I have a habit of doing that. I usually warn my neighbours and anyone who comes to stay. And anyway, I woke up screaming. I have no idea what about. And then fitful sleep, because I didn't actually. I had all these imaginations that I'd dreamed that I missed a start or whatever, but none of that happened. But I tossed and turned as usual. Got up at there was breakfast started at 6. I was, as per usual, the first person down there. And there was oatmeal porridge, which I ate. I had a banana and had a lot of coffee, which is good for the pre-race preparations. I'll leave it at that to your imagination. One of the great things about the marathon here is the same as most European marathons. They have these sort of men's urinals in the street that are basically plastic. I'll show some pictures of them. But it means that for men at least, it's very quick. That means there's less pressure on the cubicles, and that means that there's more cubicles for women to use. Now here they also have a really good idea, which is that the cubicles are divided by sex, so there are a small number of male ones and a large number of female ones, because if you mix the two like you do at Chicago, unfortunately men aren't great and make a mess of the seat, etc. So yeah, so that's a really good idea. There's lots of them around. They're all over the place, and my hotel, as I said, the start is, I can see it, it's literally just down there. If I fell out the window, hopefully not, if I fell out the window, I'd be closer to the start than I've ever been. I would just literally, it's literally there. And so that's really handy. So when I come in and come out, and so that has meant that I've decided for once in a marathon, finally I've decided that I'm going to leave the phone here, because I usually bring, because I like to get a few context pictures and that, but I can kind of do that because we're right beside we're not far from the finish line and we're close to the start line. So all that is going to be okay. That's going to be a weight off my mind. I'm about to change in a couple of minutes into my sore top, but this is my I had to make this yesterday because I'm using these bib magnets, and it's kind of ridiculous. If only he could run. I'm using these bib magnets, and because there's one on each side, they start attacking each other. So I had to put it on. I put the bibs on when I put the vest on the pillow. I have no idea yet how I'm going to get the vest off the pillow and onto me, but we'll we'll worry about that another while. I'm kind of getting excited now. I woke up this morning, I wasn't all that excited, but I'm kind of getting excited now. I'm hoping to go out at the fastest I want to go. The absolute fastest I want to go is 5:20 per kilometer, and the slowest I want to go is 5:30 per kilometer. I'm going to try and keep within those for as long as I can. I'm largely using this as a big training exercise because I'm doing 3 marathons this year. This one, I'm hoping to just get back into the swing of things. The Jack and Jill Marathon, I'm hoping to go as fast as I can on a marathon this year. And then I'm hoping that goes well, so that when I get to New York in November, all injuries and all that stuff, hopefully okay. I'm hoping in New York just to run it for the sake of it and have a bit of fun, and probably bring a GoPro with me and take some photos and just really enjoy being in New York rather than enjoy being, if you could say enjoy, running a marathon particularly quickly. I won't be bothered by the pace. So yeah, so that's what it's all very well making these pre-run predictions. So I have on the table, I forgot to mention yesterday, I did bring gloves because I left Ireland about a week ago, so I wasn't sure what the weather would be like. I brought gloves and I brought arm sleeves, so I brought a pair of sore arm sleeves just in case. I'm not going to wear them. I have worn arm sleeves before in a marathon, and I also brought my trusty dude wipes. I've never actually ever used these. I've never even opened the packet, but I'm going to bring one. You never know what happens out on the race. Hopefully not, never has before. I've taken the Morton's again this morning, the drink bottle, and so I've got to get 6 of them there on the table there. Pop them in. I've got to put on the Valderol, some various creams. I'm not going to wear sun cream because of, well, you know. So yeah, let's get going. So what exactly happened in the Rotterdam Marathon 2023 for me? Well, I had gone out hoping to run between 5:20 and 5:30 per kilometer and not run out too fast, because to start slow, to finish fast was my mantra, hopefully with some negative splits. But the idea was to try and see how far I could go at what would be my average marathon pace, and try and keep it as long as I could, because I have a terrible tendency to tail off. But that's not what happened. I went out at 5:15 per kilometer, and but I felt quite good at it. I always feel good at those sort of pace. I go out, and that was going okay. And basically, I didn't tail off. I kept going. There was a couple of, I think I've got some times here on the Garmin data, and you know, my first kilometer was it was 5:14, and it was 5:16, 5:20. It sort of went like that until there was a 5:09 at 16, which is a bit fast. 5:05 at kilometer 28. I had a couple of 5:21s, 31 at kilometer 31, 32, and then 35 or 36 and 37 were 5:26s, and they were the slowest kilometers. And then it just got really well. I was surprised, and then I wanted to sprint at the end. So it looks here like I got up to 700 watts. I really was sprinting at the end. It was great. I was crying afterwards, but never mind. And then I had my stamina. I started at 100 and ended at 1. I think that's probably pretty good. The heart rate was 165 to 193, and the pace overall was 5:16. So I started at 5:15 average, I think, and that was pretty good. And my average cadence was 176, 222 maximum, and stride length was 1 meter 7 average. So I'll go through all those in detail some of them. But in short, I broke my personal best by 10 minutes. Qualified for Boston, exceeded all my goals for the year in the Rotterdam Marathon. I think the first thing to say is how wonderful people are in Rotterdam. The support was unreal. I've done Chicago, I've done Berlin, and a couple of other marathons. I did Zurich, I did Buckeye, Arizona. I'm thinking of the sort of official ones, and I may have left one out. And I did various sort of virtual ones, but they were all really good. They were really good. But I haven't seen anything like Rotterdam. One of the things in Rotterdam is it's quite narrow for a lot of it. It's really important that you get into the right corral. It's not that easy to overtake. Except it's very easy to overtake where it really matters. So the race is kind of narrow, and then around those kilometers where it turns from a run into a race, where you know you're getting tired around sort of kilometer 25 onwards, it gets nice and wide. So if you have got the pace, then you can move up, and then as you come, I'd say the last 3 kilometers, it gets really narrow. It gets maybe 12 people. Or 12 feet wide, and there are people everywhere, and I mean everywhere, and they're all hemmed in and they're all cheering you. You've got your name on your vest, and the atmosphere is unreal. I think, I mean, I got up this morning, it was pouring rain out the window, and I thought, oh, it doesn't look as nice as it was yesterday, and it's been like this all day, but it was absolutely perfect marathon running conditions. As I ran in the sleeveless t-shirt, I was looking out the window at all the people in bin bags, and there was people in and then I saw one guy in a singlet, and I thought, well, because I was contemplating putting on arm sleeves, but I'd look ridiculous. I'd look like a fake Mo Farah and or Kipchoge. They wear them, and I thought I'd look ridiculous, and I thought about wearing gloves. And again, I thought I'd look ridiculous, and I didn't. Anyway, it was perfect. This hotel is brilliantly situated. The start line is just down there. The crowds are very easy to get into. I still think that the best thing in the Rotterdam Marathon is the toilet provisions are amazing. They actually have toilets in your corrals, so it is really good from that point of view, and that sort of matters to me. It turns out that the water they were giving was out of cups, and I always slow down. I made a big mental effort not to slow at those places, or if I did slow, to really switch back on as fast as I could. And so that was really good. I mean, the water and stuff it's plentiful. It's around the place. They don't have as many bins as I would like. I often went off course and just chuck something in the bin because I didn't throw anything on the course. I think at every single one of these, I think of how many volunteers there are who put so much time and effort into making a wonderful experience for me and for all the other runners. So yeah, I would say Rotterdam is a supremely well organized marathon. Yeah, well, I would say that, wouldn't I? I suppose if I've done well, but I enjoyed it immensely. I like to think of what went right and what went wrong. Pretty much everything went right. All my kit was perfect. It was a really good idea to leave the phone behind. But then, as a result, I didn't have very many pictures of in and around, because Rotterdam, there's, I think it's about 15,000 in the marathon. It's very easy to get into. That's another thing. If you've even very close up to it, you can still get into the marathon, and so it's very easy to get into. And there is quite a tight finishing time, so it doesn't go on. I think it's 5 hours and something that you have to finish it by, and then they literally, I mean, you can see at the window, the city is getting back to normal very, very quickly. And so there aren't, I was going to go out and take pictures, but it's pretty much done and dusted by now. And but it is really good as you come into the finishing straight. There's nice grandstands and widens out a bit, and I could certainly put the power down, which I love doing that. I mean, it might be 60, but I do like to go like the clappers if I can. All the gear was great. I love these Soar running tops. I didn't see anyone else in one. I ran in the end normal shorts. They're magnificent is the best way I can put them. They're no bother. The worst thing that happened in the whole thing is that my room key got demagnetized because of the race dots magnets. That's the worst thing that happens in a marathon. You're doing pretty well. The Vaporflies were superb. I saw one other guy in Vaporfly 3s. I'm not at the pointy end of the marathon, but they were really superb, and the on socks. It was really, really, really good. So yeah, I'm kind of a bit shocked really. I don't know what to do now. The GoPro footage actually did come out. I'll show some of it here. There's 4 hours of it because I got the entire marathon in it. But I'll show some of the start and people running over the bridge. But you can get a sense of the number of people in the race. One thing I will put at the end is a link to what I like to do is I watch a lot of videos by some Irish comedians called Foyle, Arms and Hog. I'll put a link to their marathon video, which certainly made me smile. So yeah, epic.